today's always a light day. The first day is always light because it's all that we have to go through all these technical difficulties, right? But it's all good. So did everyone have a chance to go through the orientation?
Yes.
Yes.
Was it pretty simple to understand?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Did you have any questions at all about any of it?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
we're
yet.
going to have a little conversation now about how things are going to work between us. My name is Adria, and I am here to help you. My sole goal for you is to be of service, to help you to get to where you want to be. I am available to you via Skype as early as 7:30 a.m. my time. Right now, it is 12:19 p.m. my time. So please make note, do not contact me prior to 7:30 a.m. I was awakened this morning at 5:25. I'm not going to do that again. I won't be answering when you Skype me at 5:30 again. I will also not be answering if you Skype me after 6:30 p.m. my time. Okay? That's making my schedule longer as it is. So please observe those hours. You can Skype me and with any question and I will answer it if I know the answer. If I don't know the answer, then I'm going to ask you to give me a little bit of time to find out and I'll get back to you. It's very important that you ask the questions that come to your mind. Because until you know those answers, oftentimes you can't progress. And we are going to make huge progress in the next 6 weeks together. And because we're going to make such great progress, we need to be very comfortable with each other. You need to know that I'm here for you and that I want everything to go as smoothly and as easily for all of you as possible. The goal is not ever to make this hard. I'm a teacher by profession, and so I really do not believe that there is ever a dumb question. So don't say, oh, Adria, I have a dumb question. There is no such thing. Every question is a good question because it's yours and you need it answered. Okay? Promise?
Promise.
Okay, good. Now, some things are going to be really simple to understand. Some things are going to be a little more complicated. No worries. Just ask the question when it comes up and you'll be able to move on. It's not a bad thing to ask a question. Now, it's designed, the online program, so that you can access it any time of the day or night. It's all yours. You can go faster or you can go slower than the person next to you. That does not matter to me. It only matters that you progress. You're going to be going through some courses and learning some things that you see. There are going to be videos you can watch. You can watch them over and over and over again. The portion of every class that we discuss what's going to be, what we're learning, the questions and the answers and all that is being recorded. And I will edit the parts out that are unimportant and load it onto a YouTube channel so that you can watch it anytime, again and again. And also you will have access, as of the end of this class, you will have access immediately to the first class that I ever did for students like you, the recording that I did with them, so that you can also go and watch that. Because I'm not a robot, I don't do everything the same every time. So you'll have access to that as well. So there's no end to the resources that you can watch on your own and access on your own that will help you, as well as the time we spend together. Keep in mind that a lot of times when you have a question, there's 2 other people in the class that have the same question. So when you ask a question and I answer it, we're actually answering it for everybody, and everybody's learning from your question. That's another reason why questions are so important and why classes are so much more successful than one-on-one, because there's more minds to ask more questions. And the more questions you ask, the more I think of to tell you. So it's great. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be learning how, first, the kinds of things we use and we work with, like headsets and the sound problems we had this morning. That's common. That's something you're going to need to understand and be able to address. And you're going to learn that in the computer skills class. So you'll never have sound problems and not know what to do again, because you'll learn about all that. It'll be great. So no worries. And what you're going to also learn how to do is you're going to learn how to work with Dragon Naturally Speaking, which is a program that is going to take your voice and turn it into text. It's super cool. And you are going to learn that Dragon is going to tell you what you need to work on. It won't be me saying, oh, you're not clear when you're saying this word. No, I'm not going to say that. Dragon's going to say that. Dragon's going to tell you what it doesn't understand and what it does understand. One of the wonderful things that makes this possible for you all right now is that Dragon now offers the ability for you to write text with your accented English. Because at first it only made it for American English speakers. Then it made it for British English speakers. Then it broadened it. So now I think, I'm trying to remember which one the girls used, when you're creating your Dragon profile, you will select a very specific English. And I'll ask my other ladies what they used that was most successful, so that when you get to that point, you'll already know which language, which form of English to choose for it to understand and write what you say. One of the things you're going to learn as you're dictating, you're going to learn how to go faster. You're going to learn how to speak faster. As you learn how to speak faster, you're going to find out that sometimes when we speak very quickly, Dragon understands our word as being something totally different. That's because in almost every language, we don't quite finish our words. The faster we talk, the more the words melt together. And so instead of saying, for instance, in New Orleans, which is just a few hours south of me, New Orleans has what they call Mardi Gras, just like your carnival, only I think that your carnival is a little different, but just as grand as Mardi Gras, if not grander still. In New Orleans, there's a certain portion of the population, their accent sounds just like New Yorkers. And they are referred to as yats. And it's because they like to say, "Where you at?" What they're saying is, "Where are you?"
Where are you?
But that's their language, their speak, their colloquialisms, where you at?
Where ya?
So Dragon would probably write where yak, because Dragon doesn't know the term where you at, right? That doesn't make sense. That's not a real word. It's a colloquialism. And you're going to see a lot of that happening as you start dictating, those kinds of what we call misrecognitions. And you're going to learn how to train Dragon. And Dragon, in its own way, is going to train you. And what do I mean by that? I mean, Dragon's going to show you where you get lazy. When I first started dictating 21 years ago, Dragon had a real problem with what, and would, only at the beginning of sentences. So when I would start a sentence with what or would, Dragon did not know which one I was saying. And so it took time for me to teach Dragon, this is how I say what, and this is how I say would. And I also had to train myself to say it more clearly. And so these are the things that you are going to learn as well. And it's going to be fun, really. At first, it's very, very interesting to see the text come up and to see how well it understands you or doesn't understand you. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn how to speak into Dragon. You're going to learn how to breathe right when you're using a mask. Right now, we're all communicating on headsets. And you can create a headset user for Dragon, and you will create a mask user for Dragon. And you will be able to use either. Of course, if you are in an office and you're sharing that office with other people, you will use the mask because you don't want to disturb the people around you with your speaking. That's the only reason we use a mask, because the headset will be very much more accurate. Why? Because Dragon was designed for headsets, not for masks. When I speak aloud in a headset, it's the way I'm speaking to you now. My voice is not changed from its normal at all. But when I take my mask, which looks like this, and I put my face into it, and when I want to breathe, I generally breathe through my nose, but if I have sinus problems and I can't do that, I just don't push it so tight, and I can still get breath because there's a tube. See here? And it goes inside the mask and it comes out. And so that lets your air in, lets your oxygen in, it lets your carbon dioxide out. Because you don't want to breathe in carbon dioxide, then you would pass out. So we don't want that. So you are going to learn to talk into the mask. And the mask has 2 microphones inside it. Let's see. You probably can't see it, but it's got, well, yours has 1 mic inside it. Mine has 2, but yours has 1. And it also has foam. And it's important that the foam is in there, because when it's not, it makes your audio sound very strange. It echoes. So you're going to learn to speak into the mask. And this is actually this seal. This is what we call a seal, this gray thing here. It comes off the mask. And this seal was designed to actually go like this. But I don't like it like that because it feels like a squid is sucking my face off. And I don't like it at all. So I turn it upside down and I put it on. And it's hard to get on and off. So you don't have to take it off if you don't need to. And so what this allows me to do is it allows my nose to be free to breathe. Turn it around, Sabrina. Very good, yes. And you're just gonna talk into it. And it's big enough so that your jaw can move right here. And when you're allowed to move your jaw, you speak better. And you're just gonna have to trust me on that. Try to talk with your mouth, shut. It doesn't work very well and you're not very clear, which is why we like to use it like this. You're gonna get very comfortable with it. When I first started doing it 21 years ago, I have to tell you, I'm claustrophobic. And I have to tell you, I had a huge problem with it. It took me a little while, but back then we didn't have these little masks. The mask completely covered my face almost. And so it covered all of my nose. And I think that's what made me really have a little bit of anxiety about it. With just this, I'm much better. But if it makes you nervous, don't worry. That will pass and you'll get used to it. So don't worry about it. We're going to do it nice and slow. And remember that I want you to create a user with your headset and with your mask because I want you to be able to use either. Because eventually, when you take these computers and they're yours and you're working at home and there's no noise around, then you can use your headset. Because you won't be bothering anybody. Even if I use my headset and my husband can even be watching television. And it's a noise canceling, so it only hears me, not him. So I like both the headset and the mask for different reasons. And you will find that too as time moves along. The orientation was fairly simple. So unless you have questions, I'm going to move on to computer skills. I want you to pay attention to the screen for me for a minute. I just want to show you that in ACE, up to the upper left-hand corner, this box, this gray box with the lines, if you click on it one time, it makes that side panel go away. And that way you can see more on your screen.
Okay.
And then if you click on it again, the side panel appears. Okay?
Okay.
It's on the side panel that I'll see my courses. And I see a lot more courses than you guys do because they're my courses. But I'm going to go to computer skills. Okay. So I'm going to briefly discuss a few of the things that you're going to learn in computer skills. I'm going to go ahead and make my sidebar disappear so I can see more of the screen. The first thing that you're going to notice is that there is a computer skills prerequisite exam. This is more for you to understand what you know and what you don't know. The only way you can fail at this is by doing nothing. And in my last class, if you're anything like my last class, there will be no failures. You are hardworking ladies. And one thing that I did not tell you that I did tell the other class right off is that my very best friend in the world is Trinidadian. She lives here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and has been in the States for many years, but she was born in Trinidad. And, perhaps you are familiar with Ambard House. Yes? No? The big houses that are down in Trinidad?
What
Can you be a
area?
little more specific?
What
Because plenty.
area?
It's one of the, I actually made a piece of art of the Ambard House because her grandmother is an Ambard and lived right there in the Ambard House. But I forget what street it's on. I'll have to ask her. That is why I will always tell you how much I love your voices. Because when we were in college, every time her mother would call, she would slip back into that beautiful accent of yours. Otherwise, her accent's completely gone. But every time she hears her mother's voice, it comes back. That's sweet. Okay, so in computer skills, you're going to take the prerequisite exam, but don't worry about it. It's all for you to know what you need to know. Okay? So there's not going to be any, oh, you didn't pass. No, none of that. It's only for you to get an idea of where you are. Then you're going to go into the introduction to Windows 10. You may know Windows 10. You may have used Windows 10 before. That is fantastic. This is going to go over the things that I need you to know in order to work with this course. So for some of you, it may just be a refresher and you'll fly through it. No worries. It's not hard. It's going to show you what we like the options to be, what things we want to set in your browser. It's going to make sure that you have the right settings in Windows 10. You all do have Windows 10 Pro because that's how your computers are configured at our request. And then you're going to learn about the latest additions to Windows. You're going to learn about your backup settings and your desktop. You're going to learn, I'm going to mute y'all because somebody's breathing is a little loud. So let me just. Okay. Mute all. There we go. Okay. So here, we're going to go into your backup settings. The easiest way to back up all of your files, you need to know how to back up your files. Preferences and cleanup of the computer. We're going to talk about always keeping a computer running clean and smart. So one of the things I want to warn you about right now is please be cautious about what you download and install on the computer. You can cause a lot of damage by downloading all sorts of programs. So be careful about what you download. We want to keep your computer running clean and smooth so that it always runs as well as possible. We are also going to talk about the File Explorer. The File Explorer is represented on your computer by a little yellow folder at the bottom in your taskbar normally, and it is like a filing cabinet for your whole computer. And we want you to understand how to use it, and so you're going to learn a little bit about that, and then we're going to just go into a little bit more of maintaining good PC health. And this is more for the future than for now, because your computers are all brand new, so they're going to work like a dream. But as time goes on, we want to make sure that you recall how to maintain good PC health. Anytime we have anything that can be downloaded, you should download it, print it, and put it in a binder. It's a good idea to keep it for reference for later. We're going to go into talking about the sound system, which we did just a little bit at the beginning when one of the techs were helping you to all get hooked up and so that you could hear me. So you're going to learn a little bit more about the sound system because the sound system matters when you're working with Dragon Naturally Speaking and with transcription. So we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about what is a dictation device, what is a dictation source, and we're going to talk about the purpose and properties of USB audio devices. You all received a USB audio device with your masks. It should be plugged into your mask still. And it looks like this. So your mask actually is plugged into it. So, there we go. This is the end of your mask, and this is the back of this, the end of this device. And this should always be plugged into the pink port. Nice and tight so it snaps. I leave mine on there, I never take it off. When you plug your mask in right here, it's gonna light up blue. I love that about this device because it tells you then that it's getting power and it's usable. And that's a good thing. So this is what we call a USB audio device. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about what that device can do. One of the things you're going to learn is that the first time you plug in this device into your computer, it's no longer going to let you hear out of your sound card what you're listening to now. So you have to go and change it back to the sound card. That's one of the things you're going to learn. So the first time you plug this in, it's going to be a little stressful because it's going to switch itself to the default playback. Because the green port, you can listen to. You can plug in a headset or an earbud and listen via this if the computer is set that way. Okay? So you're going to learn about, that's one of the things you're going to learn in the computer skills class. It's a really, really important class. I don't really spend a lot of time teaching you anything you don't need to know. So take your time, go through the class. You will have access to it for the whole 6 weeks. So you can go back to it as many times as you like. And I encourage you to do that because it's important that you understand this stuff. So that when you start working, I want it to be smooth as silk for you. I want you to be confident. I want you to know what you're doing. And I want you to blow it out the water. When you go in, you will go in as a professional. All you have to do is do the work. And I know that you're going to do the work. So I have no problem being there to help you when you get confused. You will get confused. Why? Because all this is new to you. And 20 years ago, it was new to me too. So I've been where you are, but I didn't have a me to help. I had to figure it out all on my own. So you're lucky because you have me and I have the answers. So no worries. We'll get through it, okay? When you're done with computer skills, you are actually going to go into the Dragon class, and that's where things start to get pretty fun because you're going to create a user profile for Dragon. You're probably going to create one for your headset and one for your mask. And this is a lot of fun and it's really interesting, and you'll get to see your words appear on the screen, and that is so much fun. one of the things that I'm going to ask you to start doing before you even learn Dragon is I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to Real-Time Coach. So I'm going to back up for a minute here. I know that you all saw Real-Time Coach in orientation, so I'm going to go back there for a minute and just remind you that you can come to the end of orientation to learn more about ACE, about Real-Time Coach, I mean. And so this is all about Real-Time Coach, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you Real-Time Coach. I'm not going to be able to dictate for you because Zoom won't allow it, I don't think, but I'm going to show you the site. So are you seeing my Real-Time Coach? Oh, you're seeing the ACE. Let me go to Real-Time Coach. Okay, you're all going to have a link to Real-Time Coach, and you're going to log in. And the way they use the login on Real-Time Coach is it's your name squished together, no spaces, but your whole name generally. For those of you who are hyphenated, I think you do it without the hyphen, but the whole thing. And then your password should just be the word welcome in lowercase. And you're going to log in. Now, you can do this with your headset, or you can do this with your mask. In the beginning, you may want to try it with your headset, simply because it's easier. You already know how to breathe. And you want to first get the idea of repeating. You need to get comfortable with that. And so here I am in ACE. I'm going to click on play, and I'm going to click on Transcriptionist. And we've got a whole bunch of videos here. And these videos, you're going to just start at the top, and you're going to do them one at a time. I'm going to go to one that I have not done and just show you how it looks. So over on the right, it has this thing called voice assignments. And basically, it's telling you, you know, what you have to put in, whether it's a Q or an A or a speaker. You don't have to worry about any of that right now. And then below it says job dictionary. And these are some of the words you're going to hear and have to repeat. Generally, what I'll do in our program is I'll dictate those words before just to make sure that they come up right. But again, right now, you don't have to worry about that. I just want you to listen. And what I generally do, whether I'm using my headset or my mask, is if I'm using my headset, I put my headset on so that I am hearing through my headset and speaking through the mic. Now, this is probably easiest when you first start for one reason. It's going to be very difficult if you can hear your own voice as you're repeating what you're hearing in the headset. It's going to be distracting. So I'm not plugged into anything, so you're not going to see any words appear on the screen. I'm just going to show you how I do it to give you an example. And let me hook up just so I can hear. Members of this body can take a significant step toward averting this human loss by moving as rapidly as possible to enact the Parental Kidnapping Prevention Act. There is a legitimate national interest in ensuring that the custody of a human child is determined by a court of law and not by the force and guile of the kidnapper. The act would ensure that custody and visitation decrees will be enforceable in every state. And this is an essential requirement if we are to remain a society of laws and not of men. Fortunately, Mr. President, extraterritorial validity is only part of the solution, unless this committee also creates realistic mechanisms to enforce custodial decrees. It will have little impact on the child napping problem. Today, a custodial order is little more than a right without remedy, even in those states that have adopted the uniform law, because child napping is not a crime. Victim parents cannot enlist the assistance of federal law enforcement officials in locating and reclaiming victim children. Instead, they must rely on private attorneys and private detectives and their ability to enforce the basic right of custody is entirely a function of their personal financial resources. The parents I have met over the past 12 months have invested, some ranging from a minimum of $9,000 to well over $400,000, in the frequently unsuccessful effort to recover their kidnapped children. This is a terrible price, even for those who can raise the money. For those who cannot, the rights conferred by decrees of custody are illusory. Mr. President, there are few rights more basic than the right to the custody of a child, and we cannot tolerate a system that makes that right contingent on personal wealth. Okay, so that's just an example. This is 100 words per minute. Slow, slow, slow. That's much faster, much slower, pardon me, than we speak, you and I, on a daily basis. But you're starting off that slow so that you can just learn the process of listening and repeating. We're going to have a guest speaker who is here with us today. Her name is Ms. Diane Lane. She is a voice writer. She is retired. I'm going to ask Diane to tell you a little bit about her experience as a voice writer over the years. She's now an instructor, and she is going to spend some time with you once you're comfortable with, once you get through computer skills. And we're about to start Dragon, but before we start Dragon, Diane is going to give you a class where she talks with you about voice theory and breathing and posture and how all that affects your diction and your dictation. But I just want to welcome her and let her introduce herself to you so that you can know a little bit about Diane. Diane, I give you the floor. Let me transfer the, I'd like to just share your screen so that everybody can see your beautiful face.
Can you hear me? First of all, can you hear me?
Where are you, Diane? You're hiding. Come out wherever you are.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Let's see. I think I know what the problem is. I think I have everybody muted. Okay, Diane. Okay.
Yes, can we hear?
Yes. And then Diane, unmute more.
Can you hear me now?
Post.
Yes, we can.
Okay, Diane.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
I can't hear you yet.
Okay. I cannot get my camera, the video, to start again. Whatever changes, I was visible to begin with, and now I keep getting an error message Something happened when you were going in and showing some of the sound system and some other settings. And I've tried to figure out what it is, but I keep getting this error that tells me that I need to switch to a different system camera, and I don't have a different system.
Well, don't worry about it. Just hearing your voice is enough.
Well, welcome to my world. Sometimes we just cannot understand why things happen. I kind of wish that you could see me. I prepared for that.
I know, and you look pretty.
Well, you're going to have to listen to my voice, and I do offer my apologies.
No worries.
I have been trying to work on it. I think you saw me in the beginning, and then poof, I can't even see myself at the moment. Okay. Adrian has asked me if I would tell you a little bit about me personally, and I have been a court reporter for 36 years. That's a long, long time ago, and I'm always astonished when I hear myself say that. I don't feel that old, but I feel as if I've been a court reporter for that long. I started with AudioScribe in the very first year that they began. I took possession of one of the first few, I'm not sure which one, real-time computers that they had created. And so I began with Dragon in December of 1997. So I've been using Dragon for a very, very long time, and I've had a privilege of knowing this wonderful lady for that entire period. And that is one of the joys of my life. So, having been a court reporter and then going to using Dragon, what you will be using at this point in time with Dragon 15 is an absolute Ferrari. And when I started, it wasn't even a car. It was barely a wheel. And it has gone just astronomical on all of the improvements. The recognition is now just spot on. And what you are going to be doing, it's just almost like a miracle. I can't wait, and I hope that I get to lurk one day when you have used Dragon for the first time and see those words appear on the screen, because you will probably forget what you're supposed to be saying, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. How incredible. And then you'll realize that you've just lost 4 sentences that you now have to go back and try to capture. But that's why you practice. So, starting with Dragon, when I did in 1997, October, I had my own firm, my own court reporting firm in Georgia. That's where I'm located. And within 22 months, a very short period of time, using Dragon 4, I was hired as the first real-time voice writer in the state of Georgia. And I was sort of the state's guinea pig. They felt if they could get a voice writer hired as a real-time reporter in metropolitan Atlanta area, that not only would that be pushing on that glass ceiling that it seems all females have to deal with, but that I might even crack it. No one thought that we would be able to break it. I will tell you now that those ceilings all over the world are broken, and you get to reap the benefits of that. And it is just the most exciting time in the world. So, back to me. I came to Atlanta. I was supposed to be here for a year, and I wound up being, well, there was also a year's option. Let me tell you that I retired from DeKalb County after 11 years here. I worked for 2 different judges. And I have had the privilege, while I was a firm owner, had other court reporters working for me, in Savannah before I became an official in Atlanta, that I reported in all of our classes of courts, whether they were traffic court, municipal court, juvenile court, state courts, superior courts, and I had the absolute honor and privilege of reporting in federal court. I took federal grand jury in the Southern District of Georgia for 9 years. My firm held the bankruptcy contract for the Southern District of Georgia for 11 years. To this date, I have reported the longest running federal trial in the continental United States. And that trial began in 1983, and we finished 2 years later. It was involving the Thiokol Company, which later also was involved in the terrible things that happened through, goodness, it's not India. What am I trying to say? I'll think of it in a moment and I'll come back to it. In any event, so working here in Atlanta, I had other opportunities. I reported for the CDC, and I'm sure all of you have heard of the CDC. It happens to be within a mile of my home, and I reported after the unfortunate circumstances of 9/11. I reported the smallpox hearings, because that was what was going to be given to the first responders after those times. When I reported about the smallpox, it had not been seen in our country since 1949. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, this is the one thing I have ever done that I absolutely have this wonderful opportunity on a daily basis to learn something new. It may not be anything that I ever wanted to know, but I have the opportunity to learn something new. So I have been training with AudioScribe for, well, I don't remember. It was a couple of years after I began. I don't remember exactly. Every version of Dragon from 4 all the way up until now with Dragon 15. The ups, the downs, the good, the bad, taking it apart, trying to make it fail, because when something doesn't work right, you have an opportunity to learn. And that's one of the most important things that you'll be involved with. You will learn what works best for you. And Adria has asked at some point in time if I would do some breathing exercises with you and talk about posture, talk about how you should enunciate your words. I'm speaking very slowly, or at least I hope I'm speaking slowly. The average person, when you are talking to another, only has to hear every 5th word before you can understand the gist of what they're saying. You know if they're talking about their children or their husbands or their sisters or family or their homes or jobs, but you don't have to hear every word. You can't do that with Dragon. Dragon has to hear every single word spoken. And it also has to be said in such a way that Dragon doesn't get confused with the utterance, and that's what it's called. Every word that you say is made up of very, very small utterances. Human nature swallows the very last syllable of every word. And Dragon has to have that last syllable. So you will have to learn your voice, what works best for you, and how best to interact with Dragon. Again, I told you that I retired 10 years ago, and I have taught at Brown College of Court Reporting here in Atlanta on 2 separate occasions, 2 years each time, and I teach voice theory. I love interacting with the students. I have enjoyed teaching at night. It's not full-time, and it's not the extreme pressure that I was under for so many years as a court reporter. But you are embarking on a journey that just right now has no limitations. The skills that you will learn will transfer to so many different uses. Court reporting, captioning, cart work. Captioning, you're all familiar with that term with broadcast captioning. CART is for the deaf culture. And transcription, you just have no idea how valuable you are, but you're going to learn. And so I'm really excited for you on this journey. I cannot tell you what very, very, I don't even know the word to use. You cannot have a better instructor than Adria Terria. Anywhere. Even if you were to spend every hour of every day looking, you cannot find anyone any better to teach you this. So you're on a wonderful journey, and I wish you all well. Too much, Adria? Not enough?
Absolutely perfect, Diane. Thank you so much, and thank you for the compliment. That's very kind.
No, that's very true. I don't tell stories.
I look forward to you spending time with them and helping them to breathe and learn how to be a healthy voice writer, because we hope that this career will take you far and give you many opportunities for many years to come. So that being said, the next thing I want to talk about is a spreadsheet that I have for each of you. It's the exact same spreadsheet. I'm going to show you all now. Are you seeing the spreadsheet now? Yeah, okay. So this is really for you to keep track. I did not have this for the last class, but I had it for myself, but I didn't give it to them. And at some point last term, I thought to myself, you know, I should give this to the students so that they can keep track of what they've done. So this is not a way of grading you so much as it is a way of you to be sure of what you have accomplished and where you are. Sometimes we get so busy in life, we forget, especially with online programs, where did we leave off? What did I already do and what did I not do? So I'm going to send you each this spreadsheet, and you can use it for your own purposes to, you know, make comments on what's easy, what's hard. If you have questions, it might be a nice place to put a question next to, you know, if you're on the programs to be used with live lessons, you can always come over here and say, I don't understand how to get Zoom. You know, you could do that. You can make notes. This is for you, for your purposes, whatever you need it for. You'll notice at the very bottom of the screen, the second worksheet says RTC dictations. That stands for real-time coach dictations. So this is for you to keep a note of when you've done which dictation and what accuracy you got. I'm going to show you back at the real-time coach screen. You can see over here on the left, Challenges in Israel Part 2, and I earned 93% accuracy. And then the very next one says 7% accuracy. I noticed that I had a problem doing this, and I had a technical problem. So I'll have to go back and do it again. Here's my 155. Here's my 145, my 135. And so when I finish one, and what I do is, like for this one, testimony, hospitalization, and therapy, 85%. I'd come over to hospitalization and therapy, I'd find it, and I'd put the date that I did it and the accuracy that I got. That way I'm tracking my accuracy. I ask you to start at the lowest speed and go up as you can. I ask that you get 80% accuracy or better before you go up to the next speed. 80% accuracy or better on the videos at that speed before you go to the next speed. You're going to find if you're using your headset, that's going to be pretty easy. When you're using your mask, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. In the beginning, it's all challenging because you're listening and repeating. And that's something that you have not yet had to do in your life a whole lot. But keep in mind that you do repeat. You just don't repeat every single word somebody says. That's what you're learning how to do, is to repeat everything and to do it at a rapid speed so that you can actually accomplish getting your transcription done in a timely fashion and in an accurate fashion. We're going to learn how to do correction to make Dragon smarter. We're going to learn so much. In the beginning, I just want you to take it easy. I want you to be able to go to Real-Time Coach and start listening and speaking. You don't necessarily have to be connected and actually producing words yet. You can just go and listen. And at the end, it'll give you a 0 accuracy because you didn't use Dragon and type in words. That's fine. Because in the beginning, I just want you to hear audio and start repeating. Just start trying to repeat. And as long as you can repeat at least every third, 3 words, then another 3 words, another 3 words, you're going to pick it up. It's going to become a habit. And before you know it, when you put on that headset, you're going to be ready and you're just going to go. When you hear something, you're just going to start repeating. You're not going to understand everything everybody says. Know that right now. That's normal, especially in the beginning. One of the things we're learning how to do is we're learning how to listen, like Diane said, to every word so that we can repeat every word. Because if you are transcribing court hearings, it's every word counts. Because, you change a whole sentence if you leave the word not out of it, right? So you'll learn, and it'll come to you slowly. I don't expect you to be 200 word per minute voice writer tomorrow. But if you follow my suggestions, you will be able to do that at the end of 6 to 8 weeks. Isn't that amazing to think of that? That you will be doing that. But it's just a matter of practice makes perfect. The more you listen and repeat, the better you will get at listening and repeating. So in the beginning, I literally just want you to go to Real-Time Coach and listen and repeat, even though you're not recording anything and you're not making any text. That's fine, because at first, I just want you to start listening. And you may want to try that throughout your day. If you're on the way to work and you're listening to the news on the radio, just start trying to repeat it in your head even. Just try to start listening and repeating. It's fun. It's actually a little bit amusing if you do it around your house. When somebody talks to you and you repeat exactly what they say. And then they say, "Mom, what's wrong with you?" And you giggle and say, "It's a new personality. Do you like it?" Have some fun with them, why don't you? This is going to be fun if you let it be fun. Don't be overly serious, Melissa. Smile. It's going to be a fun process, and we're going to have fun doing it. I don't want you to get stressed. I don't want you never think negative thoughts. I can't do this. No such thing. We are women. We can do anything, right? Okay, failures for men. Just joking. Kind of. Okay, so what I want you to do is listen to some audio. Just listen. It's not an assignment. I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to start listening and trying to even wrap your head around repeating everything you're hearing, because it's kind of a foreign concept at first. And the more you do it, the better you'll feel. And in a few weeks, we're actually going to start doing it for real, where you're going to see the words coming up, and that's going to be very, very cool. And it's going to give you an accuracy every time. But for now, it's just, I want you to listen so that you can get in that mindset to repeat, what you're hearing. And you're going to find that it's going to come slowly at the different speeds. It's easy at 100. It's almost annoying, to be honest with you. For me, like, it's harder to go slower now. In the beginning, when I would hear even 185, I'd think, oh my God, I can't do that. Now 100 is hard for me because I'm like, oh God, come on, give me some words, and I want to really spit it out faster. But I don't know if you noticed, I do it in chunks. And I do it in chunks because Dragon likes it better. And so I want to teach you from the get-go to get in the habit of speaking in chunks or phrases, like 3 to 4 words at a time. So you literally pick up 3 words, you say 3 words. You pick up 3 words, you say 3 words, kind of like that. And before you know it, as you get faster, it'll be 6 and 7 words that you hear and spit out, and you'll find your own groove. Everybody has their own groove. So don't expect me to compare you to each other. I won't be doing that. I don't like that. You're all individual, and you're all going to work at your own pace and in your own style. You don't have to duplicate what the person next to you is doing. You only have to do it so that it works for you. Okay? Okay. I'm going to send you another link to your Real-Time Coach site. I am guessing, that it's your first name, last name together, and the word welcome as your password. If you have any trouble, those of you who have hyphenated names, please Skype me, and I will Skype the lady at Real-Time Coach and ask her how I handle it. But I think it's just all 3 of your names with no hyphen is going to be how you access it. But I'll email you that, and I'll email you the spreadsheet so you can save it on your computer and make notes as to where you are, as to what's easy, as to what's hard. If something is unclear, please let me know, because that means I need to change it so that it's better. and I'm very good about constructive criticism. So please don't worry about offending me. I want this class to be absolutely the best class it can be. So if you see something that I need to work on, you might want to say, Adria, that's not real clear. Could you tell me a little bit more about it? And even that will tell me that I need to somehow work on that lesson, okay? So I thank you for your kind attention today. I will see you next week is I think that we will meet. Let me just make sure. Next week is okay, so next Wednesday is the 19th. We will meet on the 19th. And then the following week is the 26th. We will not meet on the 26th. That is a holiday for us. We observe Christmas from the 23rd to the 26th here. So we will not be meeting that week. The following class period is on the 2nd, I believe. Yes. We can meet on the 2nd, but I wanted to ask your opinion. The 1st I know is a holiday here for us. I don't know about you guys. Do you want to work on the 2nd or do you want to meet the next week?
So we are meeting on the 2nd.
Okay, what's that?
Yes, we will have class on the 2nd.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about that?
Awesome.
Yes, it's good to have the class.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we will only take the 26th off.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll meet on the 2nd. So I'd like for you to all be working on computer skills. Anything you have a problem with, let me know. I can meet with you. We can chat on Skype. If you need, I can dial into your computer if ever you're having any problems. I can dial in and work on your computer and speak to you individually that way. So there's lots of ways we can communicate and lots of ways I'm here to help. So I will send you a link with the first class that I did for the other class for you to watch if you want to, a link to Real-Time Coach and your spreadsheet momentarily. And as you progress through the course, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to Skype me. Those of you who have not sent me your Skype names, please do that as soon as possible, okay? So I can add you because I have a Skype group that I keep of all of you so that when I need to tell you something, like if somebody notes that there's a problem somewhere, one of the Real-Time Coach videos aren't working, I'll let you all know with one Skype. That's why it's important that I have your Skype name so that you can communicate with me on your own and I can do the same, or I can communicate with you all as a group. Okay?
Okay.
Are there any questions, any issues, anything at all?
Not
right now.
Not right now. Good. Good.
How
That's the
excuse-
best answer. I love that. Thank you, Sabrina.
How do we? I have
Yes,
a question.
please.
How do we get to the computer course?
Okay, that's a great question. Let's go to 8. And I'm going to click on, I'm not sharing that screen. Hang on. Okay, so when you're in ACE, remember there's this gray block in the upper left-hand corner. So I want you to click on it so that it shows. And then you can scroll down on the left and you should see computer skills right here. For me, I have so many courses that I have to click on more. And then it brings me to this page where I see my picture if I've added one. And then I see computer skills right here. And I click on it. And there I am at computer skills. And then I'll click here, and there you go. Why don't you all try that on your computer before I let you go? Make sure you can all get to computer skills for me, okay?
Okay, I'm just seeing orientation, dragon, transcriptionist.
Scroll them. Go ahead.
Me as well.
Same.
Really? Okay. Let me make
Scroll down,
sure.
you will see it.
Scroll them.
Scroll down on the page itself. And you'll see it.
Scroll down on orientation page.
Okay, who is it that's not seeing computer skills?
Diane.
Alicia.
Diane, you're not seeing it?
I'm not seeing it either.
Where you said it would be under orientation, dragon, transcriptionist.
Yeah, it should be right there, but it's
No.
not.
seeing it, no.
No.
I'm not seeing it either.
Okay. And do you see the word more?
No.
No.
No?
No.
No.
Yeah, but it's not on this side.
Okay. So we have to go to home.
Do you see it in home?
Yeah, so when we go to home and scroll down to computer skills, click on computer skills and it comes up.
Okay. Anybody still not seeing computer skills? Is everyone seeing computer skills now?
Yes.
Great. Great. Okay. Fantastic. Well, I'll let you go and you can start on the computer skills class. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to Skype me.
Okay.
And we will see you next Wednesday.
All right.
Okay, for two.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Okay, thanks.